I have been psych nursing since 2017. Just throw a little picture of myself in the beginning here. I know I look about 12, but I also look happy and joyful and so full of life, so naive. And then a couple years later, when I quit my first job, here I am. And I definitely thought I was cooler than I was. I felt like a hardened criminal who had seen too much. But it wasn't all bad. So I learned something every day psych nursing, and I wanted to share with you some overall big ones, some life lessons that I still take with me to this day. Number one, we're gonna just get right into it. Never blame people for your problems. I have seen this lead down an extremely dangerous road for tons of patients I've treated. We'd get patients all the time that claimed that every woe in their lives was caused by someone else. My job sucks because I don't make enough money. My boss is mean to me. I even had a patient that had been to jail that was still trying to off-put the blame. So I totally acknowledge that sometimes things aren't your fault, but focusing on what that other person or something did to you never is helpful, because you have no control over that. So let's take an extreme example of your parents were abusive, which a lot of my patients claimed that their parents were abusive. You obviously have no control over that, and it's going to take time and energy to work through. But sorry, that is not why you're bad at your job, and that's not why your relationships are failing. The bad things in your life are 90% of the time caused by you, or at least you have some part in it. You can choose how you react to bad things. It is totally within your power to take charge and not let something get to you. Okay, so I know this sounds harsh, but it's actually amazing news. If you had no control over your life and it was only other people that dictated how your life went, the only option would be depression. I say this not only having patients that have done this, but having done this to myself. I could come up with some excuse that it's something that happened to me in the past so that I wouldn't have to feel accountable. Okay, so this leads me to my next point. Self-pity is less productive than self-hatred. Now, okay, stay with me here. I only say this because while working, this is just what I witnessed, that many more patients that hated themselves were way closer to turning things around than patients who just constantly felt sorry for themselves. Now, obviously, I'm not saying to aim for self-hatred. I'm just saying if you are self-hating, then you might be closer to a breakthrough than you think. The thing about self-pity is that it creates a hellish existence for you and everyone you know and basically everyone you interact with. What self-hatred can mean is that you are starting to hold yourself accountable. They would say things like, I can't believe I wrecked my family with my alcohol use. My theory for why I've witnessed this is just that I think self-hatred is closer to acceptance. Number 3, people will mirror your emotions and actions. Basically, if you are an asshole, people will be assholes to you, and then you will think the world is full of assholes. I don't know how many times I wanted to say this to patients, but if everyone is nasty to you in your life, it is not them, it's you. Like, I'm sorry, 90% of the time, it's you. So many times, the cruelest patients would wonder why the world has been so cruel to them and why they're not getting what they want and why they feel this way. It's such a harsh truth to drop on someone that they're causing their own pain. And in inpatient psych, you really don't get to do it that much. You so badly want to shake your patients and say, dude, everyone can see what you're doing to yourself and you have to stop if you want to be happy. But of course, no one wants to hear what they're doing wrong in their lives, and especially if they came in a crisis for help. But all us nurses having to bottle up this advice because we were just supposed to treat them, it gets very frustrating. Number 4. Everybody has a capacity for good and a capacity for bad. This is a little cliche. It's nice to think that everybody is basically good, and the only thing that corrupts your perfect, pure soul is society and your parents raising you, but you're born this beautiful, perfect person. And anyone that thinks like that definitely has not worked in psych. So we would see some horrible, sadistic stuff, and then at the same time you'd see these beautiful glimpses of humanity, and sometimes from the same person. And I think that's one of the hardest things about working in psych. It's not necessarily the work itself, it's not as physically demanding as other nursing jobs, but it really can mess with your worldview. Anyway, we're all made to believe that people with mental health issues are these delicate, fragile individuals that need to be protected. But what I've seen is a lot of these people have the same issues as everybody else. They've just let them spiral out of control, and I am included in this. A lot of people don't even want your help. They just desperately want an answer to why they're feeling the way they do, and once they get a diagnosis and a pill, they're gone. They leave and they come back 2 or 3 times, and I don't blame them because mental illness sucks and it can be so frustrating, and that's also the medical system that's been created for them. and it's hugely disappointing. That's turned into kind of a rant, but I wanted to be clear as to maybe why I'm not working as a nurse anymore. And if anyone has questions or wants to know anything about the further minutia of psych nursing or more specific stuff, let me know, comment down below, and I'll make another video on that. If any of you need anything or have any other questions, you can email me, you can comment, but otherwise, I will see you next time.